to a safe space with Dr. Lillie. We got a lot to cover. We will be covering the Nolan Wells autopsy. Welcome to a safe space with Dr. Lillie. Today, actually yesterday, because it's a whole nother day at this moment, Ben Crump displayed the autopsy, the second autopsy, not Mississippi autopsy, because you all know Mississippi has not released their autopsy yet, and it's not good that they haven't. But what we did find out that Nolan Wells' throat was missing. Mississippi, how come you did not send Nolan Wells' throat with his body to D.C. to Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson did an autopsy, and what we found out, there was some red bruising behind Nolan Wells' neck. Also, we found out that Nolan Wells' throat was missing. It was also said that his stomach was missing, his lungs was missing. But most importantly, his throat was missing. Are you trying to shut Nolan Wells up from the grave? Take his voice while he lies in his casket cold? Mississippi, what's up? Inquiring minds want to know. As you all know, I specialize in trauma, grief, and loss. Well, Nolan's unalivened, it has traumatized many, even me. I am grieving. Nolan Wells' loved ones are grieving. Black America is grieving. Even some of our Caucasian sisters and brothers are grieving from the loss of Nolan Wells. Now, where's the loss in this equation? Nolan Wells is the loss. He's no longer here with us on God's green earth. Let's get started. Again, today's topic is about Nolan Wells, trauma, grief, and loss. Nolan Wells' second autopsy by Ben Crump. This one is not by Mississippi, but take a listen. Mississippi doesn't care at this point. They haven't released theirs, in my opinion. They don't care. Just a moment. What is going on here? Hold on, y'all. Something weird is going on. Bear with me. This is weird, y'all. Let's see. Well, anyway, right now we're going to listen to Judge Carlos and see what he has to say. Judge Carlos was once a judge in Mississippi. Hello, thank you for coming to my live. As you're coming in, please hit the like button for me, please. Judge Carlos Moore was a judge in Mississippi, so he knows exactly how Mississippi operates. He knows how racist Mississippi is as well. So let's take a listen to Judge Carlos Moore. Let me hear me. In the chat, let me know if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me? This is Judge Carlos Moore that's going to be speaking up. You can hear me? Thank you, Miller. Hi, Gail.
Good evening, friends. I'm attorney Carlos Moore coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia this evening.
I'm going to speed it up to where I need it to be because we don't have a lot of time to listen to this entire
former Mississippi judge
video
of Mr. Wells being found dead stated that no foul play was suspected. So he had done no exam, was not qualified to do an exam.
Talking about the sheriff.
So that's why everyone has been up in alarm since that time, and the family, rightfully so, got an independent autopsy. And Dr. Mitchell has stated that he still is unable to rule out foul play. It could have been foul play. He could not give us a definitive cause of death at this time. He did notice a red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of Wells' head. However, he stated that it remained unclear whether it was caused by blunt force trauma or simply natural decomposition. So it's possible that it was a result of blunt force trauma, but he could not state that to a reasonable degree of medical certainty at this time. He was able to say that there were no wounds or fractures. He didn't find any deep tissue injuries, lacerations, or bone fractures on the body. He did say that the body was severely decomposed due to the alleged time that Wells spent in the water. He could not accurately assess the skin surface for any signs of bruising or abrasions. He had some limitations that were not of his own makings that hindered him in coming to some final conclusions at this point. He was missing the neck structures. Parts of Nolan Wells' throat and neck interior were absent from the body because they were retained by the state investigators for further evaluation. Without those neck structures, Dr. Mitchell could not rule out whether a neck injury was a contributing cause of death. So that's very important. We already know that he possibly could have had some blunt force trauma to the back of the head, but he could not determine if the man may have been strangled or anything because he didn't get the neck structures. The state of Mississippi decided to keep the neck structures. Why didn't they just take a specimen, a sampling of the neck, and send some of the neck structures to Dr. Mitchell to examine? Or why not invite him to Mississippi to examine the neck structures? But they're mysteriously missing. And so that's a very key piece of evidence. It seems that all of the key pieces of evidence Mississippi kept back. They state had already dissected the internal organs. They did not send, I don't believe, the lungs. Dr. Mitchell stated he could not observe the lungs for water intake to verify drowning. So that's very important. He also could not analyze the stomach contents. I was listening to a coroner out of Richland County in South Carolina. She was saying that normally the stomach contents are put into a container so that they can be analyzed. Dr. Mitchell should have had access to these stomach contents to see what the stomach contents were. I mean, he could analyze them, and certain things would tell him whether or not this man died from a drowning. And he also did not have access to any original toxicology results from the state. So he was hampered in his findings. But it's very, very, very concerning about that red discoloration. And then what's the reasoning that
this is Judge Carlos Moore speaking
were held back
about Nolan Wells' autopsy that was released. The independent autopsy, not Mississippi State autopsy.
I heard Attorney Crump to say he's trying to find answers for the family, but he's left with more questions than answers at this time. And a lot of this is in the purview of Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. They had the body first. They got to the body first. They saw the body positioning when it was first found. So we want the Jackson County coroner, Bruce Lynn, to be very transparent and do his job. We want the
truth, troll. You know, trolls will hide behind fake photos too. So if you're going to come to my chat, use a real photo. I am born woman. I had a baby out of this beautiful flower. I can't help that you got a thing for trans, but I'm not a trans baby. And I will not be pegging you. So if you're going to be illiterate in my chat, I don't arm wrestle. I'm a woman, baby. I'm too ladylike and too beautiful. Born with a vagina. I'm not like you got to use your pussy. Okay? I will resume. We're discussing Nolan Wells. His autopsy, his independent autopsy was released. So we're going to get back to the topic of the show because we have people that's in here that's like Donald Trump, non-educated. They're slow and they wear the pens daily. One moment, please.
Turner, Dr. Stacey Turner, she's also a forensic pathologist to do her job. They have been very concerning. Their actions have been very concerning to date to me. Dr. Stacey Turner, for one, I think the past 5 black young people that have been found dead under suspicious circumstances, she has not once ruled that any of that was a result of foul play. It's always some asinine reason that...
He's talking about the medical examiner, Miss Turner. She is a medical examiner in Mississippi, racist Mississippi. As all you know, Mississippi is a racist state that do not like black people. That's why I tell black people, like the movie, get out. So we're going to move along. Hit the like button for me, please. I actually watched this young lady last week, and everything that was said in the autopsy, she mentioned it herself, and it matches up completely with the autopsy that was released by the independent autopsy that was released by Ben Crump. So take a listen to this young lady. Just a moment.
I told y'all that Nolan Wells was hit in the head, and he was dead before he touched the water. The autopsy results show that he was obviously hit in the head. Don't get in my comments talking about drowning. If he drowned, it would have said he drowned. They're obviously covering something up. They're trying to hide facts. And where the hell is Nolan Wells' throat? Let me find out you're trying to cover up a strangulation from these dumbass thugs. That's why
That's what they are, thugs.
Don't get in my comments talking about what another medium said. I don't care. I don't watch any other mediums. I stand by my spirits and myself and God. I said what I said, and I stand 10 toes down.
This young lady said last week that Nolan Wells was hit in the back of the head. And the autopsy showed that Nolan Wells had bad red bruising behind his head. That's what the autopsy showed. She mentioned it last week. So this young lady was right. Her spirit led her right. Just a moment. Nolan's throat and neck was missing from his body and other organs. One moment.
I'm sorry, but for everyone who came on here screaming that nothing happened and it was an accident, why are parts of Nolan Wells' neck missing? Why are parts of the internal structure of his neck missing? The independent autopsy is inconclusive. They could not rule out foul play because parts of the internal structure of his neck were missing. How does that happen? And before anyone comes on here who looks like me and starts in with the comments again about how this is just being blown out of proportion and we're making it about race and this is insane or whatever, be quiet. Because there's a reason that people who don't look like us don't trust people like the coroner who did the report or the police who did the investigation.
Yep.
And it's because they are often pushed under the rug, ignored, and it takes this amount of insanity with
listen to the audio
coming on to say this doesn't seem right in order for them to be heard. This is a problem because now we have internal structure of the neck missing so that they can prove that foul play happened. So that's how you get away with it? It's not going to happen this time. I am telling you.
Not on my watch.
In my first video on this, money talks, but they are not going to get away with it this time. There is too much focus on this. The eyes are on this case, and it is not going away. I don't care what evidence was removed. You can come to me and say, I'm just making assumptions. I don't really care. Evidence was removed. This used to happen, and this has not stopped happening. Every time somebody tells me, just let them do their job, it blows my mind. There's a reason that people can't be trusted to just do their jobs, and that we can't just trust what
they're racist.
Give us as a blanket statement as truth. So let's remember that just because someone has a badge or a title doesn't mean that they have our best interests at heart or of everyone at heart, as I think this case is about to prove. I hope to God they get the answers that they need, and I hope that this is reopened, and I am so glad that Nancy Grace is on here making her noise. And also, you don't scare me in my DMs, so say whatever you want. I don't really give a shit.
And you all know Nancy Grace does not play. She's fair and she's transparent. So you don't have to doubt Nancy Grace because she's going to do the right thing and she's going to stay on the case. One moment. Just a moment, okay?
Well.
Christina talks. Listen carefully.
United States. We have an update on the Nolan Xavier Wells case. And there's some tomfoolery afoot. Nolan Wells' autopsy inconclusive as family presses for answers in the teen's death. Independent exam of the black teen found Cause and manner of death undetermined as family questions the timeline. The reason it's undetermined today is because the independent autopsy, they did not receive Nolan's neck.
Cover up.
They did not receive Nolan's neck to do an independent autopsy on, because most likely the neck was removed in the first autopsy because something was not cool. Maybe he had been strangled. Maybe there was compression there. Maybe his larynx was crushed. We don't know yet, so it's inconclusive. And what we do know, according to the independent autopsy, is that it looks like Nolan may have been struck in the back of the head. I'm not confirming this. I'm just telling
That's what
you.
the autopsy shows.
Yeah, it's suspicious.
The independent autopsy.
To say the very least. I will keep you apprised to the situation as we learn more. We already know when we're talking about this nation, it's racism at play. It's hate. It's violence. It's
violence from the thugs that was on the boat with Nolan.
Tea to pour for you. Maybe. Christine, honey, I'm so sorry you were going through this.
Christine is Nolan Well's mother.
Love and care. Well, well, well.
That was from Christina Talks Tea. One moment.
Nolan Wells' throat is in Mississippi while the rest of his body is in D.C., according to the medical examiner who performed the second autopsy. It is not abnormal to remove the organs and to place them in the bag with the rest of the body, but his throat is missing. His entire throat is missing. His larynx, his hyroid, his thyroid, all internal structure of this young man's throat is missing. The first medical examiner did not give in.
But why is Nolan Wells' throat missing? They are trying to stop Nolan Wells from speaking all the way from the grave. They removed his throat, his neck, because that would show where he just may have been strangled. Let's continue.
Specifics or didn't even tell the new examiner that the throat was not going to be in there. They have literally taken this young man's life and have stolen his voice from him. You cannot tell me this isn't symbolic. You cannot tell me this is not an echo to the past when they used to keep trophies from black bodies. They know his body tells a story, and they have literally stolen the voice from him to tell this story. What is the accountability here, and what do we do to stop these cultural practices? Because they have never stopped, and they're only going to continue as long as we allow it to happen. And that is every single person in this country, and that is every single person, particularly in the South, looking at their own role in this, because at the end of the day, you are easily going to be able
to stop what is happening in Mississippi. You will have to get rid of the racist judges. You have to get rid of the racist coroner. You have to get rid of the racist medical examiner, Miss Turner. You will have to get rid of that racist sheriff that before Nolan Wells even had an autopsy, the sheriff said there was no foul play, but the autopsy said there's no way to conclude that it wasn't foul play. You see what we're dealing with? We're dealing with racists in Mississippi, baby.
Turn your phone off or forget about this in a few months, because it doesn't happen to anybody or everybody, but it's only going to affect communities at large if it starts happening to everybody. Nolan Wells' throat is in Mississippi while the rest of his...
Miss Turner, the medical examiner in Mississippi, why did you take Nolan? And why did you not bag it up and send it right along with the other organs? Well, his stomach wasn't there to be tested either, nor was his lungs. So the medical examiner, Miss Turner, where is Nolan Wells' throat? Where is Nolan Wells' stomach? Where's Nolan Wells' lungs? Where are they? Why did you allow his mother to bury her son with not all of her son's belongings? One moment, please. Just a moment.
After After hearing the results of the two private autopsies for Nolan Wells, why the fuck isn't Dr. Stacy, whatever the fuck her name is, Stacy Turner, why the fuck is she not being arrested?
The medical
And I
examiner.
hear this ain't her first rodeo.
Nope.
I hear every time she do a black person's autopsy, it's never murdered. Now, I haven't done extensive research.
This
on
is
her.
horrible.
This baby, I'm talking about.
This is infusing more trauma on the black community and Nolan Wells family.
At this point, is something very evil and demonic going on here in Mississippi when it comes to his death and hundreds of others. But we focused on Nolan Wells right now. This bitch needs to be in jail.
That is a lie. Get out of my chat, Peter Wolf. Get out. You don't belong here.
How come she didn't get arrested? We know she was with him. After hearing the results of the two private autopsies for Nolan Wells.
Just a moment. This is about Nolan Wells' phone. This right here.
Here are some things that are disputed and unresolved. His phone, Wells's mother tracked it via Life 360 and found it at one of the friends' houses before police did. As a mother, as a black mom, this would bother me. Why does someone have my son's phone and they haven't let me know they have my son's phone? That would bother me. Has repeatedly flagged this as strange. What teenager leaves their phone behind? And the mother says she found no saved Snapchat photos or videos from that day, which she considers suspicious. Now, what I take from that is her son must be Snapchatting, and so someone went into his phone, deleted things. Now, here are some things that are disputed.
Nolan Wells' cell phone was taken from him. Nolan Wells' friend, supposed to have been his best friend, Warren. I'm going to show you a video in a moment about Warren. He did an interview with Tatum. Warren, you did an interview with Tatum, a podcaster, but you did not attend Nolan Wells' funeral. You did not even do a search for Nolan Wells. You had a boat. Why did you not go search for Nolan Wells? Because you're guilty as well, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm going to let y'all listen to this audio of Warren.
Where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group. Right. Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends.
I can barely stomach this dude, this thug, Warren.
You know, everybody.
Warren is one of the people that was on the boat with Nolan.
Over there, like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on.
This is Warren, one of the guys, one of the thugs.
Every weekend, like, I fish the islands. I don't just, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands, and I feel like it was just a big. I talked to Nolan, and Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking. Most of everybody, and
underage drinking. And he said he know the island very well. You know the island very well. Why didn't you go search for Nolan Wells? Y'all just went on home like it wasn't nothing. But Katie, the girl that you said with, said that Nolan got back on the boat with you all. And she got on the boat with her family. Y'all, there's so many lies around with this case, the Nolan Wells case. Somebody lying. And I think it's his friends who are thugs. Take a listen to this.
And I know a lot of people are going to try to dummy it down, and you guys are going to try to make excuses about it. But listen, the Navy Cajun has asked the thugs if they can search their boat with their dogs. Kind of like when they do cadaver dogs and they search them, to see if there was a body on there, find any type of evidence. And these thugs declined. They said, no, we don't.
Warren declined.
And again, that is very telling, because the one thing that could have exonerated them, the one thing that could have helped them, they decided that it was enough. Anyways, the thugs declined the Navy Cajun to come and searched the boat with their dog. And like I told you guys before, it is very telling of what's really going on here. We go from they're lawyered up immediately. They did not help search for Nolan. They lied, and there's so many. The towing boat company said that they did not help them, that they declined the tow. They didn't need their services anymore. And so many other things, from deleting messages off the phone, from not wanting to give the phone up. Y'all, it's just so telling. And this, for me, that's it for me. Like, I'm convinced that these thugs have done something. So yes,
Those thugs unalive Nolan, in my opinion. I agree with her. Those thugs did something. Why did they not want their boat searched? That's a sign of guilt. If I was being corrupt, I will be requesting lie detector tests. You haven't done anything wrong.